Good evening, I'm Lori Tucker and welcome to the 7. Let's get a look at the big 7 stories right now. And topping the list, Knoxville City Council members are considering plans that could change Chilhowee Park. Tonight we're learning not everyone is on board with the idea. We've been telling you about the 2 deals up for a vote tomorrow. One to lease out the Jacob building for an expansion of Muse Knoxville, a children's science museum with an emphasis on STEM and hands-on learning. The other change under scrutiny centers on Knoxville's young people, with the Emerald Youth Foundation in talks to buy a portion of the park site to build what you see planned out there, a facility dubbed the East Ministry Complex. It would include some of what we've seen from Emerald Youth's other complexes in Knoxville, with space for sports fields, a gym, an assembly and arts center, plus classroom and office space. That piece of land is across Magnolia Avenue from the Jacob building, one that's been described as underutilized, part of a plan that's been in discussion for more than a year. Tonight we're hearing from Vivian Shipe with I Am the Voice of the Voiceless. She says if these plans follow through, they would be losing an opportunity to expand this park the way other public parks in the area have. And she's fearful for what could come next.
Because when you start parceling off pieces of land and selling them to different private individuals, you take away that right, and it's like a Pandora's box. You sell him a piece, sell them a piece, and before you know it, all of that beautiful land that's been there for over 100 years is no longer accessible to the public.
These proposals are on the agenda for tomorrow's City Council meeting, giving Mayor India Kincannon the go-ahead to put them into action. We'll be there to see how the vote turns out. Next on the 7 tonight, a Central High School student arrested today. Knoxville police say that student had a gun. KPD says the gun was found after the student was stopped and searched. A KPD school resource officer as well as Knox County school security officers were involved in the arrest. We're told the gun was reported stolen out of Knox County. Central High was placed on lockdown during this, but that lockdown was lifted before the end of the school day. Next on the 7, the body of a missing boater has been recovered from Douglas Lake. Crews first responded to reports of a drowning yesterday afternoon. This is in the Indian Creek area. TWRA says the man who went into the water has been identified as 44-year-old Yoser Valverde of Sevierville. We're told he struggled to stay above water before he went under and did not resurface. Valverde's death marks the 17th boating-related fatality on Tennessee waterways this year. TWRA reminds people who go out on the water to wear a properly fitted personal flotation device. The agency says this really is the most effective way to prevent drowning. Next on the 7 tonight, continuing coverage on a community pushing back on plans to build a landfill right out here. People who live in the Winfield and Oneida communities speaking out at tonight's County Commission meeting against a company's plans to build a new landfill next to an existing separately owned one. Residents say volunteer landfill located off Scott Highway already meets the county's needs, and the proposed landfill would be less than a football field away from Winfield Elementary. They're also concerned about water and air pollution. They're hoping after tonight's meeting they'll be on the same page as county leaders.
We're hoping that this can quickly come to a conclusion, that TDEC will see that there were some errors made and that they will put a stop to this without a long, drawn-out legal battle.
The company that proposed the landfill is in the process of trying to get its permit recertified. We're going to have more on this story coming up tonight at 11. Next on the 7, a Blount County principal has been put on suspension pending further investigation. A joint statement from the Blount County Director of Schools and the Blount County Sheriff's Office says an investigation into Stan Painter was opened on Friday. Painter is a principal at Friendsville Elementary. We're told the investigation stems from the 2023-24 school year. However, specifics are not being released. The Department of Children's Services is involved with this investigation. An interim principal has been named. Well, the city of Gatlinburg has decided to continue using fluoride in its water supply. A release says this decision stems from customer feedback as well as input from Gatlinburg's health and dental practitioner community. And because of this community input, the city says it will no longer vote on using fluoride at next month's city commission meeting. Fluoride in drinking water has been the subject of debate in recent months, with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. pushing to do away with it. In 1950, federal officials officials endorsed water fluoridation to prevent tooth decay, and in 1962 they set guidelines for how much should be added to water. Construction begins next week on Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs' new project. It's called Operation Heroes Hill. It's a tiny home community for veterans built by local students. The project will involve building 20 tiny homes for veterans who may not have a place to call home. Students from Knox County Schools' CTE program will be hands-on throughout the entire process, working under the guidance of experienced professionals. The initiative not only gives students real-world experience in construction and workforce readiness, but also allows them to give back to those who have served our country. Carnes High School student Kylie Knatzer says she is ready to get to work.
I'm really excited. I love hands-on learning and stuff, and being able to do electrical work and just construction in general and able to help out is a really good feeling. I feel like it's going to be really awesome to be able to see what potential companies I could be working with in the future.
Mayor Jacobs tells 6 News this is the first project of its kind in the entire country where students help build a tiny home community. The goal here is to cut the ribbon by the end of the school year with hopes of expanding to more projects across the county.